Okay, here's yet another video with me not in it. I just saw a video posted by, I believe his name is Jay Army, and he, as a prop, he had, like, I guess a coat in his hallway and a little stuffed dog, and I kept thinking, you know what, I think I'll just go ahead and use different objects as a focal point while I do my videos. That way I don't always have to be in them, and I don't have to worry about looking presentable, and I don't have to prop up a camera, a tripod or anything. I can just talk. So this is a coaster that I've been making. I've been making a lot of coasters on my time off, and I work a lot with felt, just to give you a little bit of information. This one was not a really great coaster. It looks like a squirrel, but my husband keeps calling it a chipmunk. And I don't really know what it is at this point, but it's just cute, so we put our glasses on top of it. Just because I'm an artsy person doesn't mean I want to be an artsy person. I'm more of a crafty person than I am an arts person. An arts person has a lot of artistic abilities. I mean, they draw well. I like making crafts. I like making clothes, but they're usually for my own purposes. They're not for anything that I want to sell. Although I used to have an Etsy page, but I'm not doing that anymore. Okay, so anyway, I want to title this video, Different is Not Crazy. And oftentimes, I think people have a lot of misconceptions about me because I am by myself a lot, and I think my family may have wondered, what kind of person I am, and why don't I socialize with people, and that sort of thing. And you know what? I think everybody has basic needs. We all have to have social needs. I would love to have more than more of a social life like everyone else. But, in my previous experience in being in toxic work environments where, people literally turn on you because somebody is manipulating the situation to make that happen, it creates a lot of, animosity. And it's not that I feel any animosity towards the people anymore. I just kind of want to move on. But I do realize that I have to maintain positive business relationships. And I'm sure that everybody I've worked with can attest that I've never done anything to, leave a bad taste in the mouth. Maybe I didn't respond nicely to their mobbing tactics, but that's pretty much it. I don't like to get involved with office politics or arguments or whatever. So, here's a few things that a lot of people don't understand about me. They probably wonder, well, you're always by yourself. Yeah, because, initially when I first start off in a work environment, it seems like everything's great, and then all of a sudden people get just too intrusive, and to the point where it's just obvious. And, I want to have positive work relationships, and of course, you hope that one day you can find people that you connect with, but in the manner that what I've experienced has just been extreme. And so, those kind of relationships, and I'm very picky about the kind of people that I associate with. I'm the kind of person, I don't want my relationships to revolve around gossip. The minute a person starts gossiping about other people around me, I automatically know that if they're gossiping about this person, they're going to be gossiping about me. And I'm looking for relationships that are more functional. I don't want anything, I've been sabotaged before, I've been hurt before by two-faced people, and that's the kind of those are the kind of people I don't want in my life. I don't want that. And I realize that, a lot of people gossip, and it's a common habit, and I think it's what bonds most relationships together. But like I said, I have a very high moral standard, and I enjoy people who like constructive relationships. Like, maybe I could meet a girl who really, or a woman who enjoys sewing. So, I would probably connect on that level, and then we can do sewing projects together. We can talk about clothes. We can talk about whatever. People who share, common interests. Whether that be professional or just outside hobbies. So those are the sort of relationships that I choose to have. And, now, some people, of course, I already covered the issue about my relationship. My relationship with Joel is one that I cherish, and I don't like to be controversial. Although people try to pick out things about me and make it an issue of controversy. But you know what? I realize other people have different beliefs, even though maybe they think interracial couples are weird or whatever, but you know what? There's no law against it, and it is not something that is, it's not unscriptural to marry outside of your race, and it's not illegal to marry outside of your race. So there really is nothing wrong with it. That doesn't mean that I'm sitting here trying to promote it. It's just that, you know what, my home life should stay different or apart from my life at work. Now, some people think that they should be intermingled, you know, and I think in some situations they can be. Like, you may have a former relationship with a person, and you can invite that person over, and they get to know your spouse, and, you know, it goes over pretty well. But in my situation, it's like, well, you know, people seem to be armed against me before I can even develop a relationship with them. And I'm very sensitive to the things that people say, you know. So if they say something that I think is just a little off, I will keep a very politeful tone in the relationship, but it won't go any further. I'm very careful about stuff like that. So today, I was trying really hard, you know, to focus on my my work search, and it is. I'm extremely fragmented in it. I'm fragmented in my work search because of the issues. Now, this video is titled "Different Does Not Mean Crazy," or "Crazy is whatever." Different doesn't mean crazy, and so you know, because I've gone through a lot. I'm going to tell you that most people that haven't experienced the things that I've experienced as a person, you know, people usually are puzzled by me. They are usually intrigued with me, so much so that I get more attention than I really care to deal with. And I don't feel comfortable with that. I mean, you know, I want to be treated just like everybody else, you know, and I want to be able to go to work and do my job and form relationships in a normal manner, okay, without somebody trying to egg it on or try to, you know, dig out certain information from me or anything like that. And so, you know, my family may have thought that I was a little kooky. I covered this in a video before, but they may have thought I was a little kooky because I don't associate with people very much. But they don't understand that I'm not comfortable with the kind of interactions that I've had to encounter. And so that's my reason. You know, it's not that I personally think that, you know, people have given me feedback about their interactions with me, and most people have told me that they find me to be pleasant. They find me to be pleasant. They find my company enjoyable, and I've heard, you know, a lot of people tell me that. When they actually get a chance to talk to me, without, you know, any pressure or anything like that, they usually find me to be a very pleasurable person to interact with. But, you know, in the situations that I've been in, the things I've had to encounter, I just think it's just over the top, you know. And so, you know, I am different, okay? I am different for a lot of reasons. And sometimes my differences go beyond race and religion or anything like that. It's just because I have grown up mostly by myself. You know, I have formulated into a person, formed into a person who is an individual. And I haven't really been, I mean, it's not that I'm ignorant of society, because I'm very, very much aware of society, but I've never had the harsh influence of society. Like, I'm the kind of person who's just kind of on the outside looking in, and I'm going to tell you that a lot of people's standards I'm shocked by. The very fact that, you know, I could be gang stalked and people can literally just run over your life and think that that's normal, I look at it from a completely different standpoint. Now, when I was younger, I was engrossed in religious studies, and I took it to heart, you know. As an adult, I don't really see the need to discuss religion around people. Do I have a sense of spirituality? Yes, I do. It's not something that I want to ever say. It's not something that should be based, my employment should never be based on it. But do I pray? Do I have a sense of spirituality? Absolutely, I do. I do. And I don't, and it's one that, like I said, you know, the Bible looks down upon people who have showy displays of their faith, and I take that seriously. And I don't really see any need to discuss my religious views with anyone. However, I do pray. I do pray. I am a prayer. I pray a lot. I pray, like, almost all the time. There's certain things that I believe that shouldn't be thought about. It shouldn't be even said or whatever, and so I'm constantly recorrecting myself, realigning myself. I'm extremely spiritual, but it's not something that I need to discuss. I'm basically telling you this just to satisfy your curiosity, because I tend to have a lot of people who are just, you know, overly kind of obsessed with me to that point, and I'm not comfortable with it. But, you know, yeah, I do. Since I was a child, I have always placed spiritual pursuits above relationships with even people. That's just how I am. So, and it's my choice, you know, and I really do think that spirituality should take, you know, place, be in a place that's higher than regular relationships, although, of course, you know, it's healthy to form relationships. So, anyway, back to this video, because I'm getting really straying off subject. Now, you know, my situation, my employment situation is creating a lot of anxiety. And because what has taken place is not something that's supposed to take place, it is leaving me with, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to direct my energy. I don't know where to focus. Am I supposed to, you know, am I supposed to live here and get a little, you know, job where I can just kind of put things together until I can save up and move on to somewhere else, or whatever? And this is the problem that comes up when people manipulate your employment. This is exactly the issue that people, you know, creates this nightmare, this cluster. And I resent it because I'm left not knowing my next step. I don't know where I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to go, what I'm supposed to do. You know, all I know is that I don't have anyone to assist me to look for work. I feel like I'm completely all on my own island. I feel like my life is being threatened when I go to employment agencies and I'm being denied assistance from employment. And I'm just sitting here like, okay, look, I need to be able to pay my bills. And I get these people who have this look on their face like, well, you know, I'm not going to help you. You know, and I'm like, okay, well, look, I need a job, okay? I don't have a social network. This issue has cleared out my social network and stuff. And, you know, I've never been the kind of person who ever asked anybody for assistance in my workplace. I have always kept my relationships, my personal relationships, separate from my work. That's my choice. And you know what? This gang stalking and things like that is exactly the result of that sort of thing, those two things combining. It should not happen. Not comfortable with it, don't like it. So I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Am I supposed to focus on moving on out of here directly, or am I supposed to look for a job and stay here till I can save up enough money? Meanwhile, looking for it, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And this is what happens in this situation. And I'm not interested in competing with anybody. I don't want to compete with anyone, okay? I mean, I don't care about competing with anybody. I mean, I really don't. Like, I went to a spa place, and this lady was just like so eager to compete with me, and I'm like, you know what? I don't have time for this. I really don't. I don't have time for this. You know, and when people talk about their issues of being gang stalked, no, they're not crazy. When you go to, you know, employment agencies and you have a lot of experience and you're not getting placed, and they're just sitting there looking at you, that is a serious issue, and you start to become terrified, because this is it becomes life-threatening. These people are basically, in a way, whether they realize it or not, they're threatening your life. They're threatening your life. And they feel as though you don't have the right to survive. And, you know, this is a scary, very scary situation. I don't even know why I'm being so attacked by people that I don't know. So I've tried to contact, you know, the mayor of the town and a couple other places, you know, and I'm trying to get things situated. I'm doing this the best way I can. If I kept quiet about this, this could have ended up even worse, okay? I don't know what else to do. I'm stuck. So I'm not exactly sure how to proceed, okay? My unemployment is out, and I don't know what else to do. And so this is creating a lot of fragmented thoughts. Like, you know, I'll try to work on a resume, and I keep thinking, is this just going to end up like all the other jobs? Who can I trust at this point? You know, is there any help out there for me? I don't know, and I don't understand it. You know, I think I've handled everything in a way that that was professional. I really did. I handled it very well, and I feel as though I deserve the cooperation that I'm asking for, only because this is a very serious situation. It is a very serious situation, okay? It's a matter of my life and death. Life and death, it is. It has come down to that. And, I don't know what else to do. It would be different if, and I'm not trying to stand on people's toes, okay? Because if I really wanted to, I could sit here, name names of certain companies and put me in this situation, and not just the names. I'm talking about the individuals, okay, that were involved in this. I'm not trying to do that, okay? And to say, well, why don't you just sit down and wait it out and see what's going to happen? Let me tell you something. The way that I've been treated, if you've been psychologically damaged, psychologically raped, basically, damaged, and having to deal with this sort of mind control, going to job interviews that lead to nowhere, and they're looking at you like you don't belong or you have no right to live, you're going to start realizing that you're in a very terrifying spot. I'm in a very terrifying spot, and I don't think my family realizes the situation that I'm in. And I'm hoping that they, if they have any heart at all, they'll try to intervene on my behalf. I don't know what else to do. My hands are tied. It's not about me trying to stir up controversy. It's not. I simply just want to get on with my life, and I don't know the path on doing that. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Because, if I'm supposed to, I'm more than willing to leave, okay? I'm more than willing to leave. But I need help to do that. And I could stay here too if I could find a job. But am I going to find a job, or am I just going to get the runaround? And I can't help but feel that way. I mean, what am I supposed to do? My life is, people are dealing or using or manipulating my life, and all I can do is stand back and watch. I have no control over my life, and I'm the one who's living it. This is terrifying. It is terrifying. And I know everybody who's involved. I know that, I know everyone's involved in who's a part of the collective, and I want to know, are they thinking about are they taking my best interest in consideration? Do I have to worry about these people, or do they have some weird, sick, sinister plans that I don't understand? Because I'm going to tell you what, I never put myself in this situation. I never did. Never, 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 never. And I don't know exactly how to proceed. I really don't know how to proceed. So I'm not, there's nothing wrong with me. I am not somebody who is crazy. I'm actually very level-headed. I try to use I analyze things a lot, almost to the point of where, I strip it down to where it's like, man, people are just like amazed at all the angles that I can see things, and how deeply, what a deep thinker I am. I want a good quality life, and a good quality life is surrounding myself with good quality people, having a decent job. The quality of life involves being around people who have high moral standards, and I'm very picky, very picky. And those are the sort of things that I want. And I want to be around people who are truth seekers, people who respect other people, and I want people who have strong intellectual pursuits and goals. And sometimes you can collaborate with those people, and I want a functional group of people. I really do. Gossiping and tearing other people down, that's just not my thing. I will never be a part of that. Don't want to be a part of it. And, I just have a very high moral standard. So my issue here is I don't know how to proceed further with my job search. I don't know what to do, because, it seems as though I'm having a hard time finding a job. And I really shouldn't have a hard time finding a job, seeing as how I have a very good reputation. I'm good at what I do, and I take my job seriously, and I get along with people, and I get along well with people. And, I can live anywhere. I could live here. I could live here another 20 years. All I have to do is just get a job. I can get along with people. I'm not stirring up trouble. I don't create problems with anybody. I will tell you what, moving right now would be a major hardship right now, okay? Because right now, I owe my car payment. They're calling, they're wanting to collect on that. I have the money that my mother let me borrow. I've already used half. I'm already going to use half of that for the rent. And, I'm having a very hard time. And I'm experiencing all these problems, and I never asked to do any of this. I never did any of this. So, the collective who did all this Trust me, they're not paying one of my bills, okay? They're going to sit here and let me suffer and struggle and wash their hands of it. And I'm sitting here looking at these so-called professional people, and I'm thinking, how could you do this? You know, I'm going to tell you what, the world is filled with a lot of evil people. It really is. It's filled with a lot of evil. And I don't want to be a part of that. And the Bible talks about being separate from the world. I'm one of those people. I don't want to be like that. I don't ever want to be somebody who hurts people. And, you know, when I was younger, I never thought about, I used to do things that, you know, thoughtless things that might hurt other people. And once I realized I hurt them, I corrected my action. I didn't ever want to do it again. And that's the kind of person I am. I don't ever want to hurt anyone. And so just a little note to the community that I live in. I'm not trying to put pressure on anyone. I'm just simply trying to let you guys understand that, you know, I didn't put myself in this situation. I really didn't. And I want people to understand that administrative issues relating to people's employment, and I'm sure that this sort of practice has been going on for a long time. I mean, that's why we have targeted individuals, is because there's a lot of administrative or, you know, mistakes that people make by taking, you know, orders, directions from people who really aren't related to the job, who have no real say-so about the future of somebody's life, and they proceed with it. And then they start, you know, denying people certain privileges and doing things that are illegal, and they don't even realize they're illegal. And that's my point. My point is that there's a lot of people who are doing things that are creating all kinds of drama for other people. So my reason for these videos is to correct those actions, okay? It's to correct those actions and let people understand that this is the result of, and when I say ignorance, I'm not saying it to be a slap in the face. Okay, you simply didn't know, okay? You simply didn't know. For whatever reason, you didn't know. Well, now you know, okay? This is what happened. Trust me, a lot of the jobs that I had to work at were not good matches for me, and I would have never chosen myself. I would have never chosen those myself. That includes the company that I was referred to, the mining company that accused me of being Muslim. I tried to put that to do that job. I really did. But I realized it was a toxic environment. Just when the very first time I had to sit next to the accountant who was talking about the budget, and he was from a accounting group from the Los Angeles area or whatever. I'm trying not to name names here. But I knew that I wasn't in a good environment when he was trying to compare me. This is something I have to deal with a lot. I deal with a lot of people trying to compare me to other people, and I know it has a lot to do with people feeling threatened by me because they think that I know every darn thing under the sun. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I might be a smart girl, but I don't know everything, okay? And I don't claim to know everything a CPA knows. I am somebody who is aspiring to be a CPA. That's one of the reasons why I want to form alliances with CPAs so I can get that understanding. I don't know everything. And so I deal with a lot of people who want to play, let's test Maria. Let's test Maria. Okay, I'm going to tell you something. Just because somebody has intelligence or whatever doesn't mean that they know everything, okay? There's a difference between intellectual abilities, meaning that your brain processes or problem solves faster than other people, and people who have acquired knowledge. Now, people who have intelligence have this inner knowing that they know that they don't know, so they hunger for knowledge, okay? And that's pretty much the only difference, okay? Now, if I didn't read the same material that this man read, that I was constantly being compared to, if I didn't read the same material that he's read, then obviously he has more knowledge in that subject than I do. So when people try to make those comparisons, I think that's kind of silly. It is very silly. But, I'm a problem solver, okay? I'm good at problem solving. My brain works that way. And there's a lot of other people who work that way. And I think some people might even be afraid of the fact that I have high intelligence, and I think that's kind of silly. I really do. I think they're threatened by it, and there really is no reason for it. Maybe they never saw somebody like that, or maybe they have a lot of misconceptions as to what that means. I knew this one girl who said she had a very high IQ. she said her mom thought she was possessed by the devil, which I thought was kind of funny. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't understand that. Now, it would be different if this girl started rambling off, ancient languages that she never, ancient languages she never was taught or learned before. Then I could see that, okay? But, I'm just trying to let people know that some of the ideas and misconceptions that people have are just ridiculous. And that is crazy, because that's really silly. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up. I just wanted to basically blog and really release some of the stress, because I don't know how to proceed further. I really don't. I'm lost. I'm completely lost. And like I said, I've printed out several resumes, and I don't want to waste any more time. So I don't know. I don't know how to go any further. I'm stuck here. My hands are tied. So, unless, of course, I'm not unblacklisted in every area, and people are open to dealing with me, I'm dealing with a lot of limitations here, and I shouldn't be dealing with any. So, anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope you like my little squirrel/chipmunk, or you can decide what it is. If you have any ideas that we should officially call it, please send me a comment. You can comment on my coaster. This is another coaster that I made too. I have a bunch of them. I also make them for the holidays too, like little seasonal ones. I have, I like my housewife stuff, but believe me, I don't want to be one for the rest of my life. Take care. Bye bye.